Man, shopping would be so much easier if everyone else in the store was dead. Hey dicks, it's Rufus. Now way back in 2016, I decided to make a little video review about one of my favorite guilty pleasures of all time, the infamously violent and offensive indie game Postal. At the time, I figured I would upload it to YouTube for folks to watch, and if people liked it, who knows, maybe I'd make more. Well, I ended up getting a ton of positive feedback. It's still my most watched and liked video by far, which has gradually inspired me to post more and more frequently, so a huge thank you to everyone since then who has liked, subscribed, commented, you know, all the YouTube shit. I'll keep on making videos as long as you weirdos enjoy listening to me ramble about obscure-ass video games like the massive fucking nerd that I am. Now, I always intended to return to the Postal series and take a look at some of the sequels and expansions, of which there are many. So, a couple of years, thousands of views, and hundreds of subscribers later, let's do just that, starting with Postal's very first expansion pack. Postal Special Delivery. Yep, more wacky, genocidal fun. This is going to be a short video, because this is a relatively small expansion, and I already talked about it a little bit in the original review, but it's one of my favorite add-ons of all time, so I would be remiss if I didn't give it at least a little bit of a spotlight. So here we go.
What? You don't sell Postal?
Yay, murder! Now, I'm not going to spend too much time going over the story and the gameplay. If you're unfamiliar with Postal, you should check out my original video first, and try not to let the audio grind your ears to a fucking pulp. That was back before I had a decent microphone. To quickly recap though, Postal is a game about an anonymous dude who's been driven insane by society, snaps one day, and decides to kill goddamn everybody. It's an isometric shooter with a variety of weapons where your main goal is to go on an insane rampage and not get killed by law enforcement. It was, and still is, controversial because of all the innocent bystanders you can murder in various nasty ways. Although it's worth noting you don't actually have to kill any unarmed civilians at all to win the game. It's totally up to you as a player, which is a staple of the Postal series. The games are only as fucked up as you are. So, in my case, pretty fucked up. The Special Delivery expansion predictably adds new shit to the game. For instance, it makes a few improvements to the multiplayer mode, although this was never very popular even when Postal first came out, so good luck finding any servers these days. I'm just gonna skip that part. I don't even think I mentioned it in my original review. Although I did also forget to mention that Postal has a pretty kick-ass challenge mode called the Gauntlet, where you attempt to complete a series of difficult single-player trials, primarily involving collecting flags scattered throughout the map and/or murdering a lot of people. A lot of people. I always felt bad about not bringing up the Gauntlet in my original video, so there, now you know. But that's not what we're here to talk about, because the real meat of Postal has always been the single-player campaign, and this is where Special Delivery really, well, delivers. The expansion adds 4 new levels to the original 17, including a bunch of additional characters and a shitload of great new one-liners from everyone's favorite anti-hero.
Get them! They're stealing all the tennis balls.
The new additions are, for the most part, far more ridiculous than the original game. The first level, Easy Mart, sees you shooting up a department store, which is totally a parody of a Walmart. The second level, Shantytown, has you running through a homeless encampment and taking out bums. Did I mention this game isn't very politically correct? The third level, Earthquake, has you blazing through the ruins of a city destroyed by a giant quake for literally no reason except that it looks really fucking cool. And in the final level, La Palomino Resort, you're running around a fancy resort hotel massacring a bunch of rich old people on vacation. All of these new levels feel like the developers were really just having a good time with the game engine and seeing what kind of hilarious shit they could come up with, as opposed to trying to make any serious addition to the Postal universe, which is exactly what makes this expansion so fun. Speaking of the developers, Running with Scissors, based out of Tucson, Arizona, first released Postal in 1997, which, for obvious reasons, caused immediate controversy and therefore a shitload of free publicity. They have since created the Postal series and only the Postal series, riding that sweet, sweet wave of moral outrage for more than 20 years now. After the success of the original Postal, an expansion was inevitable, and the following year they released Postal Special Delivery, and fans of the series lapped it up, including me, for one damn good reason. It's fucking hilarious. Now, I'm not going to go back over all the pros and cons from my first video, although these do all apply to Special Delivery as well. But the humor is really what makes this expansion stand out from the original. The biggest problem in getting people to understand Postal has always been that, for what is essentially a fun arcade-style action game, it's incredibly dark and depressing. The atmosphere is completely dirty and awful, and the main character is violently insane. Now, there's a ton of great black humor scattered throughout the game, but it's a bit too cynical and sarcastic for most folks to really appreciate. Special Delivery, on the other hand, is a lot more in-your-face with its levity. Like, the resort you visit is supposedly hosting an annual above-the-law convention for lawyers, who you then get to annihilate while they play rich old people games like golf and shuffleboard.
You should have gone to Disneyland.
Not to mention that there are naked people running around.
Nudity is offensive.
The expansion also finally adds music to the game, which was non-existent in the original, but hilariously it consists of cheesy, canned shopping mall music, or cheerful Caribbean tunes. Which is totally ironic considering the amount of sheer violence you're committing at the time. It also features some of my favorite one-liners in video game history.
Who peed in the pool? Listen, can you hear the property values going up? I can't stand bastards with coupons.
Special Delivery was really a turning point for Postal, from a depressing, antisocial game for gothy edgelords to an irreverently funny slaughterfest that doesn't take itself too seriously. Now, some may understandably say that Running with Scissors took the goofiness a bit too far in the sequels, but in Special Delivery, the balance of violence and humor is fucking perfect.
Clean up on aisle 5.
My only major issue with this expansion is that it's too damn short. Fans waited almost a year after the release of the original game, and all they got was a measly 4 levels. And it's not even like they're forgettable. They were damn good. I wish they would have taken this concept further and released like a dozen crazy new level ideas. But no, we only got 4. And then we had to wait another 5 years for Postal 2 to come out. Oh, Running with Scissors, you cock teases. But I'm still gonna give this 8 dead naked lawyers out of 10. It's a really tiny expansion, but the new levels are pretty fucking entertaining and really set the tone for the rest of the series. So where do you pick it up now? Postal Special Delivery was released in 1998 as a CD for Windows and Mac computers. It's also been included on every single re-release of Postal since then, so it's not hard to find. Currently, you can buy Postal with the Special Delivery expansion included on Steam for a mere $2. And, because Running with Scissors really loves their fans, this version is still being actively maintained and updated, so it works just fine on modern Windows, Mac, and Linux computers. If you go to the Amazon App Store, you can also find a version for Android devices. iOS users, sorry, you're shit out of luck. As far as consoles, there now actually exists a Nintendo Switch port of Postal. You still have to buy the game, but the port itself is free to download, so give it a try. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 users are still fucked though. So try it out if you get a chance, and enjoy a fun little afternoon shooting Walmart shoppers, bums, earthquake victims, and naked lawyers. Links, as always, are in the description. Until next time, don't do anything I would do.